Hi, this is Shay Jackson with Hype Math. In today's 8th grade math test prep lesson, we will be reviewing the STAAR Math 2013 test, questions number 5 to number 15. Let's get started. Question number 5 says, the expression below describes an arithmetic sequence of numbers, 9 minus 4n. If n represents the position of a term in the sequence, which of the following sequences of numbers could this expression describe? A, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and so on. B, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. C, 5, 1, negative 3, negative 7, negative 11, and so on. D, 13, 17, 21, 25, 29, and so on. What are we looking for? We are looking for the sequence of numbers that the expression 9 minus 4n describes. What information can help us find the answer? So, of course, the expression 9 minus 4n is key. And also n representing the position of a term in the sequence. So the nth term would be 1, 2, 3, and so forth. And what we would do is substitute in the value of the variable n for those numbers. So 9 minus 4 times 1, 9 minus 4 times 2, 9 minus 4 times 3, and so on. Based on this information, are there any answer choices we can cross out? Now, again, if you know the correct answer, go ahead and mark it. But if not and you're unsure, it's good to take a look at the wrong answers and cross those out because it helps you improve getting the answer correct, the question correct. Sorry about that. The question correct, okay? So in looking at our answer choices and looking at the information we know we need in order to solve the problem, are there any wrong answers we can cross out? If you said A, B, and D, you are correct. So let's take a look. For the expression 9 minus 4n, when we substitute in for the nth term 1, that's 9 minus 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 9 minus 4 is equal to 5. So with that being the first answer, we know that we can cross out A and D because they do not start with 5. Looking at the second term, 9 minus 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 minus 8 is equal to 1. Then we know that we can also cross out B. That's a wrong answer. So with 5 and 1, starting off the sequence of numbers, we have crossed out 3 wrong answers, and our correct answer is C. In looking at our example, for 1, 2, 3, and 4 nth terms, we see that yes, this is correct. C is correct, and it follows our sequence of numbers. Let's move on to question number 6. Boris has a coin and a number cube. The number cube is labeled 1 through 6. He flips the coin once and rolls the number cube once. What is the probability that the coin lands tails up and the cube lands on an even number? F, 2/3, G, 1/4, H, 1/12, J, 1/6. What are we looking for? We are looking for the probability that the coin lands tails up and the cube lands on an even number. What information can help us find the answer? Well, one, that the number cube is labeled 1 through 6, and that Boris flips the coin once and rolls the number cube once. The probability that the coin lands tails up is 1/2 because, of course, there are two sides of a coin, and for us to look for the probability of it landing tails up, that's 1/2. For the probability the cube lands on an even number, that's 3/6. Because the number cube is labeled 1 through 6, 2, 4, and 6 are the numbers that we are finding the probability of it landing on, so that would be 3/6. And also, lastly, the probability of the coin lands tails up and the cube lands on an even number. In looking at this information, are there any answer choices that we think we can cross out? Okay. Let's take a look. If you said answer choice F, H, and J, you are correct. In order to find the probability of the coin landing tails up and the cube landing on an even number, we would need to multiply 1/2 times 3/6. Okay? 1 times 3 in the numerator is 3. 2 times 6 in the denominator is equal to 12. That's 3/12. So, and because it's not simplified, we need to take one step further to simplify it. So our correct answer is G, 1/4. When we simplify 3/12, our answer will be 1/4. Let's move to question number 7. The diagram below represents the side view of a bike ramp. Okay, one side of the ramp is 6 inches, the other side or leg is 26 inches, and the hypotenuse is X. Which of the following is closest to the value of X? A, 27 inches, B, 32 inches, C, 25 inches, D, 20 inches. What are we looking for? We are looking for the answer that is the closest value to X. Okay, so let's look at how or what information we need in order to find the answer. Because we do not know what the hypotenuse is, which is our X, we must use the Pythagorean theorem, which is leg squared plus leg squared is equal to hypotenuse squared, or we can say A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Let's substitute in the value of our legs. One leg is equal to 6 inches and the other leg is equal to 26 inches. And again, we said leg squared plus leg squared is equal to hypotenuse squared. So 6 inches squared plus 26 inches squared is equal to our hypotenuse squared. 6 times 6 is 36 inches squared, and 26 times 26 is 676 inches squared. Now to find our hypotenuse, we must find the square root of those two numbers combined together. 36 inches squared plus 676 inches squared is equal to 712 inches squared. Now we must get rid of that square, so we must find the square root in order to find our hypotenuse, and the square root of 712 is 26.68. And since we're looking for the closest value, we are going to get the approximation or round 26.68, and our correct answer is 27 inches. Let's move to question number 8. Which numbers from this list are less than negative 0.94? Okay, which numbers from this list are less than negative 0.94? Negative 5/16, 0.24, negative 2.23, 97%, negative 2 2/5, negative 0.95. For F, our answer choice F is negative 15/16, negative 2.23, and negative 0.95. G is negative 2.23, negative 2 2/5, and negative 0.95. H, 0.24, negative 15/16, and negative 0.95. J, negative 15/16, 0.24, and negative 2.23. What are we looking for? We are looking for the answer that shows a list of numbers that are less than negative 0.94. Again, we are looking for the answer choice that has a list of numbers that are less than negative 0.94. What information can help us find the answer? What could help us are the numbers that are less than negative 0.94. So let's take a look at the numbers we have displayed to see if there are any wrong answer choices we can mark out. Okay, we have negative 15/16, we have 0.24, negative 2.23, 97%, negative 2 2/5, and negative 0.95. Looking at those list of numbers, we're not even looking at the answer choices yet. Let's look at the bottom to see if there are any answer choices we can mark out that are greater than negative 0.94, and then we can look at our answer choices to see if those numbers appear in the answer choice, and if they do, we can cross them out. So again, looking at that list of numbers, let's look and see if we can find any numbers that are greater than negative 0.94. And yes, we see 3. Negative 0.93 is greater than 0.94. So is 0.24 and also 97%. 0.24 and 97% are greater than because they have a positive sign. And also, even though that negative 0.93 is a negative, because it's less than the number is less or smaller than the negative 0.94 is actually greater than, because on the negative side, the smaller the number, the greater the value. Okay, so since we see these numbers, now we can look in our answer choices to think or to see if there are any wrong answer choices we can cross out. And that's pretty cool because we didn't even need to do conversions or anything else yet. Just looking to see, okay, are there any positive numbers? Are there any numbers that are greater than negative 0.94 that I can immediately spot and then cross them out in my answer choices to help increase the chances of me getting the right answer. All right. So in looking again at the answer choices, are there any that contain the numbers we've highlighted as they're greater than negative 0.94, and we can cross them out? If you said F, H, and J, you are correct. Now, we only have one answer left, and that is G. G is our correct answer. Negative 2.23, negative 2 2/5, and negative 0.95 are all the answers that are less than negative 0.94. Let's move on to question number 9. A square has a side length of 5.5 inches. This square is dilated by a scale factor of 4/5 to create a new square. What is the side length of the new square? A, 4 4/5 inches, B, 4 1/4 inches, C, 4 2/5 inches, D, not here. What are we looking for? We are looking for the side length of the new square. What information can help us find the answer? Okay, so number 1, we know that the side length of the square is 5.5 inches, and that it's dilated by a scale factor of 4/5. Well, in order to calculate to find the new length of the dilation, we must multiply the original length of the side and by the scale factor. We change the 5.5 inches into an improper fraction so that we can multiply it by 4/5. So 11 halves, or 11/2, times 4/5, multiplying across our numerators, 11 times 4 is equal to 44. For our denominators, 2 times 5 is equal to 10. We're going to change it back, and our answer is 4 4/10, which is equal to 4 2/5 when we simplify our fraction. So our correct answer is C, 4 2/5 inches. This is the side of the length of the new square when we dilate the scale factor by 4/5. Let's move to question number 10. The ages of the members of a volunteer group are shown below: 13, 14, 14, 14, 15, 15, 15, 16, 16, 21, and 23. Which box and whisker plot best represents these data? So let's look at our answer choices for F, G, H, and J. What are we looking for? We are looking for the box and whisker plot that represents the following data: 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 15, 16, 16, 21, and 23. What information can help us find the answer? Well, number 1, that we are looking to create a box and whisker plot, and also the numbers of the ages of the members of the volunteer group. So in order to plot a box and whisker plot, you must, number 1, find and plot the median. Also, find and plot the median or the average of the lower Q1 and upper half. Then you plot the extreme values. Let's dig a little bit more into this. So we want to find our median, which is our Q2, and that's negative 15. I'm sorry, not negative. That's 15, and median means the middle number. 15 is the median, the middle number. Now we also must plot the median of the lower number, the lower half, which is Q1, and also the upper half, which is Q3, and those are the lines that we would have in order to create our box and whisker plot. In knowing that information, are there any answer choices we can think of that we could possibly cross out? Again, we know that our median, our Q2, so that's our middle line, our middle dot, our middle line, that is 15. And looking at the answer choices, are there any answer choices that does not have 15 as the median number? If you said F and H, you are correct. So we were able to cross those out. Now what we have left are G and J. And for the second step of creating the box and whisker plot, we must find and plot the median of the lower half, which is our Q1, and our upper half, which is Q3. So our answer choice is J, because for our lower half, 14 is our median number, and for our upper half, 16 is our median number. And when we plot those extreme values, which is the 13, that's the smallest number, and 23 is the highest number, J reflects this plot. Let's move to question number 11. Juanita covered the outside of a gift box shaped like a rectangular prism with paper. The box is 3.2 feet long, 2.1 feet wide, and 2.7 feet high. Which of the following is the closest to the total surface area of this box? A, 34 feet squared, B, 42 feet squared, C, 30 feet squared, D, 18 feet squared. What are we looking for? We are looking for the answer that is closest to the total surface area of the gift box. What information can help us find the answer? Number one, that the gift box is shaped like a rectangular prism. 2, the box is 3.2 feet long, 2.1 feet wide, and 2.7 feet high. The surface area of a rectangular prism is basically the sum of all the areas and all the faces, and the formula is 2 times, in parentheses, width times length, plus height times length, plus height times width. That was a tongue twister. All right, let's see how we can solve this problem. What we need to do is substitute in the values for our variables. We know that for L, it's 3.2 feet long. For our width, it's 2.1 feet wide. And for our height, it's 2.7 feet high. And again, substitute in the values for the variables. Our formula would be 2 times 2.1 feet times 3.2 feet plus 2.7 feet times 3.2 feet plus 2.7 feet times 2.1 feet. Once we multiply and combine inside of the parentheses, we will end up going one line down. 2 times 6.72 feet squared plus 8.64 feet squared plus 5.60 feet squared. When I add all of the values inside of the parentheses, my total is 21.3 feet squared. When I multiply that by 2, my answer is 42.06 feet squared. So my correct answer in looking at the answer choices to see which value is the closest, the correct answer is B, 42 feet squared. Let's move to question number 12. Mr. Martinez has 3 ice chests. He is placing 14 lunches in each ice chest. Each lunch contains a sandwich, a bag of chips, and a drink. About 55% of these lunches contain a ham sandwich. Which of the following is the closest to the number of lunches that contain a ham sandwich? F23, G8, H17, J9. What are we looking for? We are looking for the answer that is closest to the number of lunches that contain a ham sandwich. What information do we need that can help find the answer? Number one, Mr. Martinez has 3 ice chests. 2, he's placing 14 lunches in each ice chest. And lastly, about 55% of these lunches contain a ham sandwich. Based on that information, are there any answer choices we can cross out? Okay, so we know that in each ice chest there are 14 lunches. So 14 lunches times 3 ice chests equals 42 lunches. So that's the start, okay? We know that total in all 3 ice chests there are 42 lunches, and about 55% of those 42 lunches contain a ham sandwich. So with that information, looking at our answer choices, are there any answer choices we can cross out because we know that they're incorrect? And basically what we're saying is there a number that is more than half of 42? Okay, more than half of a little bit more than half of 42 lunches. If you said we can cross out answer choices G, H, and J, you are correct. Our correct answer is F, 23. Okay, so again, we are going from the 42 lunches, we are going to find out how many, which is 55% of the lunches, are ham sandwiches. 42 lunches times 0.55 is equal to 23.1 lunches that have ham sandwiches. Okay, and because we're looking for the closest number, 23, which is F, is our correct answer. Let's move to question number 13. A librarian recorded the number of books that were checked out on each of the last 9 days as shown below: 142, 136, 125, 148, 150, 152, 115, 131, 136. Which measure of data does not describe a typical number of books checked out on these days? A, mean; B, median; C, mode; D, range. What are we looking for? We are looking for the measure of data that does not describe a typical number of books checked out in the last day, in the 9 days. Okay, again, that does not, the measure of data that does not describe a typical number of books checked out. What information can help us find the answer? Well, understanding what the mean, median, mode, and range are would be very helpful. So the mean means the usual average; median, the middle value; mode, the number that is repeated more often than any other number; and range is a list of numbers that is the difference between the largest and smallest values. Okay. Now that we have that information, are there any answer choices we can cross out that are wrong? And basically what we're saying is these answers are what could help us, or are typical of measuring data to find out how many, the number of books that were checked out. Okay, so what we're looking for as wrong answers are the measure of data that can describe the typical number of books that were checked out in the last 9 days from the library. Again, mean, median, mode, and range. If you said that A, B, and C can be crossed out, you are correct, because using the average mean, which is finding the average, yes, that can help us to record the number of books being checked out. The same with the median, because it's the middle number or value. And for the mode, the number that is most often repeated, that can help us find out the number of books that were checked out in the last 9 days as well. So our answer choice, which cannot, the measure of data that cannot be used, is D, range. Finding the difference between the largest number value and the smallest number value cannot really help us find or record the number of books that were checked out. Okay, it would be better to find the average, the middle value, or the number that appears the most often in that list of numbers. Let's move to question number 14. Which points on the coordinate grid below satisfy the conditions x is greater than -3/2 and y is less than 1 4/5? F points P and U, G points Q, R, and T, H points Q, S, T, and W, J points P, S, and W. What are we looking for? We are looking for the points on the coordinate grid that satisfy the conditions x is greater than -3/2 and y is less than 1 4/5. What information can help us find our answer? Okay, x is greater than -3/2, and also y is less than 1 4/5. So what we're going to do is we are going to plot those items so that we can cross out or eliminate the coordinates that are in those ranges. Okay, so for x is greater than -3/2, we plot that information, and also for y is less than 1 4/5, all of the coordinates in the red, or all of the points in the red boxes, those are the answers that can be eliminated because they fall outside of what we're looking for. Okay, basically they do not satisfy these conditions. So in looking at that and seeing all of the points that are within that area, and be mindful for the S, even though the S has the red line on it, the dot does not. Okay, so in looking at these points and looking at our answer choices, are there any answer choices we can cross out, or if you can get the right answer? Okay, if you said we could cross out answer choices F, G, and Q, and H, you are correct. For F, yes, P is outside of the red areas, however, U is not. That answer choice is incorrect and can be crossed out. For G, points Q, R, and T, all 3 points are in the red area and can be crossed out. For H, points Q, S, T, and W, well, S and W are outside of the red area. However, Q and T are not. So our correct answer is J, point P, S, and W. And if you look in the green box, those dots are within the conditions we were trying to satisfy, where x is greater than -3/2 and y is less than 1 4/5. Let's move to question number 15. In 2011, Ralph paid $12.95 for a box of cards and 44 cents each for 16 stamps. What was the total cost in dollars and cents of the box of cards and the stamps? Record your answer and fill in the bubbles on your answer document. Be sure to use the correct place value. Well, we don't have an answer document, but we most certainly can work this problem out. What are we looking for? We are looking for the total cost in dollars and cents of the box of cards and the stamps. What information can help us find the answer? One, that Ralph paid $12.95 for a box of cards, and two, that the stamps were 44 cents each and he bought 16 stamps. To solve for this problem, what we would need to do is add $12.95 times the 44 cents times 16. Okay, so we are going to work in our parentheses based on the order of operations first. Okay, multiplying 44 cents times 16 is equal to $7.04. Now we can add the $12.95 plus the $7.04, and that is equal to $19.99. So in your answer document, you would bubble $19.99. Make sure that you have the correct place value. This is Shay Jackson with Hype Math. If you would like to see more 8th grade math test prep videos, come and visit our website, www.hypemath.com. Talk to you soon.